Hi guys, Glorious Eggroll here, and I know I have made quite a few Warframe videos, especially more as the new versions of Wine come out. And I have, what I've done is I've actually created a Lutris install script for Warframe that gets it up and running for you very quickly, well, apart from the install, very easily. And we actually went back and reverted back to Warframe 1.8 or Wine 1.8 because of a couple of things. One, the launcher. The launcher has always been a problem with Warframe for Linux users, and I found that while in versions 1.9. I believe 10 and up, there was a patch in 1.9.10 that fixed things for the launcher. But then they screwed up things for saving missions in-game. So I had a choice. It was either get the game running really smoothly and then do something else with the launcher, or get the launcher running properly and then find some kind of workaround with the game. Well, I couldn't find a workaround for the game. Basically what would happen in the 1.9.10 and later versions is you would go to finish a mission, or like say you'd finish a mission and then go to start another one. Well, it would usually freeze on one of two things: either finishing the mission itself, or if you actually managed to complete the mission and then went to go queue up for another mission, it would freeze the game completely. So what I had to do is I had to take a step back to wine staging 1.8, and I set everything up properly. I set up all my settings there, and I got no freezes in game whatsoever. The game runs beautifully. I'll fire it up here in a minute, and we'll give you a quick look through of it, and then I'll show you how to do it. Also, another thing with this setup is we don't use the installer at all. We don't use the launcher at all. What I did is I went through and figured out the steps that the launcher does, basically in order to update the game and to launch it. And I just created two separate batch scripts. And what those scripts do is the first one runs when Lutris installs it, and it runs the DirectX setup that Warframe would normally run, and then it also updates the game. And also, if you already have the game, once the updater starts, you can close it, copy your downloaded folder from within your Warframe folder, and then over to your new Warframe prefix, and I'll show you how to do that, and then start the launcher again, and it should it should skip the full update and then just say you're up to date and allow you to play the game. And then the launch script for launching the game itself, what that does is, or the batch script for it is, it launches the game, but it launches the updater first. So that way, even though you're launching the game, you're always having it up to date before you launch. So yeah, let me go ahead and jump into those. Let me show you the game first, just so you can get an idea of the performance that I'm getting. Now, I do have a GTX 980 Ti. If you have some, even like a 970 should work, or 960. I'm not sure about lower cards or older hardware, but for current gen hardware, it should run perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and launch here. Now you saw that little text box that came up, or the little black box that came up before the game launched. That was actually the updater. What it'll do is it'll go through it'll check your files to make sure they're up to date, and if they are, then it launches the game. As you can see, we are at the main screen here. Go ahead and log in.
This is an urgent mission. A Corpus scout ship with information about the
Alright, so let's go just test one of these. Now there is still the infamous black texture bug where you'll see black textures here and there on certain maps. That's something that's always been a bug with Warframe with Linux. I don't know if they're ever going to fix it, but it would be really nice. Actually, it'd be really nice if DE would fix it themselves and do us a favor, but we do what you can do. You get what you can get. And so far, what I've got is pretty damn good. As you can see, I'm not having any hiccups at all. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of the times with previous setups, if you go through doors, or if you went through doors, it would freeze up a bit. It may still do it if we have another. Let me see if I can find another door here somewhere. Might do it on this door, right? Nope. Oh, maybe that's the same door that we went to. What about this one? Oh, maybe this. No, this is the one that we went to. So let's see. We're not getting any freezes on doors, so that's a plus. Here we go. Yeah, see, there's those black textures I was talking about. Those things are just like forever and ever never going away. They're always in every version of Warframe that I play on Linux. Alright, so no door freezes at all, which is amazing. No zoom freezes. Oh, I probably shouldn't have gone through that. Oh, I don't have a power up yet. Whoops. Hey, where did he go? Come here. Did they alert everybody yet? I probably don't want to step in that. Oh, they done pulled the alarm.
You're on the sensors now. You've been detected.
All right, so, yeah, as you can see, I mean, it runs super smooth. I don't have any hiccups, any stuttering, whatever, anything like that. But let me go ahead and abort mission here, and we'll go to the menu, and I'll show you the settings. Now, the most important settings that I have are all done in the Lutris script. I have it all set, so when you launch the game, it should run like this. It will start off in a windowed mode, though. You'll have to set borderless full screen manually, and I'll show you how to do that as well. The game, I'll show you the... Okay, so let's go to our display here. I'm running a borderless full screen right now. Just a forewarning. Changing the screen resolution and changing between borderless full screen, and windowed mode will crash the game. You need to do those in the config file, which is ee.cfg, and I will show you how to do that. There's a couple other settings here that need to stay off. You can turn local reflections on. I had that off for testing. You need blur reflections off. Anything that has to do with blurring you want off, because they will really cause some issues. I can actually crank these all the way up too. Isotropic filtering, leave off. Trilinear filtering, be on. Anti-aliasing, leave off or leave disabled. Depth of field off, blur off. Both of these are blurring. See if you read the description, it blurs distance, objects in the distance. And if you notice, the ones that are already off are ones that that I already had set up through the Lutris script. It automatically turns this off and this off and this and this. We can turn that on. Everything else you can crank up all the way. Also, let me show you this as well. If you go to the UMP, these settings, make sure these will be turned off as well by Lutris. So, for those that are wondering. All right. Anyway, so enough of showing off the game. Let me go ahead and get out of here and show you how to set it up. Okay. So the first thing is you're going to want Lutris. And you're going to want the latest version of Lutris, which is, I believe this is this is 0.4.8. But I would recommend getting the latest version off of GitHub, simply because as of a few days ago, I actually had him code in the code to run batch scripts because it wasn't running them. And so now it works correctly. So if you need it from GitHub, I believe they have, let me just I think I have it up here actually. Lutris GitHub. Yeah. Here you go. GitHub.com Lutris, and then go down here to Lutris, and clone or download will get you the full source. But you're gonna want that. 0.4.9 should come up with it as well soon. If you're on Arch Linux, here's a shortcut or kind of like a cheat that I did. Let's see if I have the folder here. Documents. Downloads Lutris. Okay, so AUR. Okay, so if you're on Arch Linux or Antergos or Manjaro, any of those, go to the AUR and then type in Lutris. Okay, and actually you're gonna want to download a snapshot. Don't just pull it from PackHour or whatever. You're gonna want to download a snapshot, and then you're gonna want to edit it. If you open the PKG build here, when you download the snapshot and extract it, you'll see this make PKG build source info. This will not be there, and this will not be there. These two folders are usually automatically created. What you want to do is create the source folder before it automatically creates it, right? And then go to the Lutris. I just had it up here a minute ago. The Lutris GitHub. I had it up here somewhere. Where did it go? I probably did it on the AUR page. Lutris GitHub. Okay, here we go. So we're back at the Lutris GitHub, right? If we clone or download zip, it'll open Lutris master. Let's open up our extracted snapshot here and open up the source folder, and you're going to drag your Lutris master into this source folder here. You can delete, that's not going to be there. But what you would do is just extract it into there. Then we're going to edit our PKG build. Open Notepad. I meant LeafPad. Whoops. Okay, so it's open in LeafPad. Now, if you noticed, I've commented out the source because we don't need it to download the master again. Excuse me. Don't need it to download that archive, whatever. So just comment those two out and close it, and then open up a terminal. CD downloads, CD Lutris. We can actually delete that too. Okay, and then we're gonna do sudo. Actually, we can just do make pkg -i. It'll build Lutris, and this is the package here, and then we'll just hit yes to install. I've already installed it, so I'm not going to, but that's how you get the latest version of Lutris via Arch Linux via their GitHub. So let's go ahead and cancel that. And now we go to, now this is the easy part, installing Warframe. So let's see, we'll go to our Lutris website, we'll go to games, we'll go to search for Warframe. Here it is. I've got the nice fancy installer right here. Here's my notes about putting a borderless windowed mode and what works and what doesn't work. We're gonna hit install. Okay, those are the same notes that I just showed you. Continue, browse, choose whatever directory you want it on. We'll do like Warframe test here. Okay, install. It's gonna download basically my files, my batch files that I created for it, and the base of the launcher. Let it do its thing. Now at some point in this installer, after it gets through with all of the Windtrix stuff, it's going to pop open up a little black box. And it's going to seem like nothing's in the black box, but if you look at the title, it'll show you that it's updating the game, and it'll give you a percentage of how far it's completed. So you'll have to wait for that to complete. If you do have the game already, I'll show you how to skip that. And it even says it in here whenever it gets to that step. I'll show you. Actually, let's go to view installer. I'm gonna go to view the installer, show you what's going on. Okay, so while Lutris is downloading and installing our script here, we've got, this is the actual script itself. And this is where it downloads my files with the installer, or the batch files. This is where it sets up your config. This is where it does all your Windtrix, sets up your registry. Now see this is where it's just entering the key for the launcher. I actually entered these because I wasn't sure if the Warframe.exe read those registry settings, but it seemed like it was very finicky with settings, so I went ahead and just added all of the registry settings that it needed in order to run the launcher, and it seemed like it worked fine to run the game. And then this right here, this wf.reg, this is more launcher settings. It was just easier to put them all in a registry file than to enter them individually. Okay, and then here's your overrides down here that you needed. In particular, you need D3DX943, because if without it, it will crash the game. All right, let's see what's the progress on Lutris. We're at WinHTTP. Once it gets past Quartz, it'll fly through the rest. This is what I spent like my entire weekend doing. Making the script and creating batch files for Warframe that would run on Linux, since their launcher doesn't want to. But it works out in the end. I mean, the game runs great now. No freezing, no hiccups, nothing. It took a lot to get there. Alright, let's wait for this thing to finish installing. Okay, so we got to this point. It's going to tell you this. It's running the Warframe command line updater. This will take time. It's roughly 20 gigabytes in size. If you've already downloaded the game, you can close the close the launcher, which is this. If you look at the title here, this is where it's updating, and it shows the %. Okay, and it says that you can close it, which is what we're going to do because we already have a copy of the game. Wait for Lutris to catch up. Then we're going to copy our downloaded folder from our already existing game into the new one. Or move it, whichever you want to do, just save space. Come on, Lutris. There it goes. All right, you can create an application or a shortcut if you want. Don't need to. You can launch. You can't if you waited for that black box to fully go through and update 100%. You can launch the game, but if you're doing the shortcut like I am, where you already have an install and you want to just copy it over, don't launch the game yet. Go ahead and hit close, and we're gonna open our path that we installed Warframe to, which was Warframe test here, right? Okay, so we're gonna go there. Drive C, Warframe, And here's our files, and here's that downloaded folder I was telling you about. Now, let's open up our other Warframe install, which is right here. Warframe, Drive C, Warframe. Here's our downloaded folder. Okay, so we're gonna cut this, or copy, whatever you want to do, and then paste. It asks you to merge. Go ahead and hit merge, replace everything that's in there. Alright, now close this. Alright, now let's make sure we got the right one because I had two installed. That's Warframe. We need the Warframe test. Configure. Okay, here's our Warframe test. We've already moved over the downloaded folder and hit play. There's where it does the updater check. And presto, there's a game. So as you can see, very, very easy. Much easier than having to do a whole bunch of wine tricks and having to do this and that and mess with the launcher and wait for the launcher to fix itself and not loop a million times. But yeah, and you can launch the game like this every single time. That batch script will automatically update your files with that little black box that pops up. That's your updater. So it'll launch that every single time that it launches the game. And if it detects it's not updated, it will update it. So go ahead and quit game there. And you notice it's in windowed mode. The way that you're going to be able to change that mode is if you're back here in your prefix that you installed it in, which is, let's go to our Warframe test here. Okay, so if you want to change it from windowed mode to borderless full screen, you go to, we're in our wine prefix, go to users, whatever your username is, local settings, application data, Warframe, and you're going to open ee.cfg and edit it. And all you're going to do to make it borderless full screen is type graphics dot borderless equals 1. Okay, and if you want it back in windowed mode, you just go back and remove that line. Okay, so we'll save that. Launch the game again. There we are. Borderless full screen. Let me log in here again, and I'll show you all the default settings that were in ee.cfg, which were installed by Lutris.
This is an urgent mission. A Corpus scout ship with information about the location of the Grenier Baylor Memorials has been located.
Alright, options. If we go to our gameplay, obviously Lutris has turned those off. Go to display. Blur reflections is off. Depth of field is off. Motion blur is off. This one is just always off by default, but you can turn it on if you really want to. Anisotropic filtering is off, and anti-aliasing is off. As long as those settings are off, you're good to go. The game should run super duper awesome. So let's go ahead and get exit out of here. Oops. Oh, and if you want this to scale smaller too, go to options because the HUD's kind of big right now. Go to interface, change this menu scale from full to custom, and you just drag it about halfway. And there you go. Now you have a normal looking UI. Get out of there. That's it. That's all I got for you. It's as simple as that. It's a lot easier now. I would say if you can install Lutris from the GitHub, that's the easiest bet until 0.4.9 comes out. But apart from that, it's really easy. I hope the script helps you guys out a lot, especially in getting Warframe running, because it's always been a constant pain. And now knowing that we can get the game running smoothly and safely, get it updated properly, and not have any hitches when we're playing the game either, as well as, you know, no stuttering, things like that. I think it'll make a lot of people a lot happier. So let me know if it helps you out.